First, I'm going to talk about voluntary disclosure. This special program is part of the government's efforts in tax reformation. It is to encourage taxpayers to make voluntary disclosure in reporting their income to increase tax collection for the country's development. This voluntary disclosure can be made at the nearest IRBM office commencing from 3rd November 2018 until 13 September 2019. Okay, next here we can see the information is regarding the categories of taxpayers and rate of penalties based on period of voluntary disclosure and payment to be made.
For not filing your taxes is if you earn enough to be taxed as of 2015. This means earning an annual income of 34,000 ringgit Malaysia after EPF deduction. You need to file your taxes. You will also have to make sure file your taxes before the deadline. Otherwise, you will have to deal with the penalty. This will result in unneeded expenses that may have been avoided. If your income tax return form is late or not submitted, you will be charged a penalty. You must file all income tax return forms within 30 days of the form's due date or for the term specified by the government. The penalty that we will have to pay is as follows. 4 sources of income divided by 2 types, which is non-business and business. For non-business, the types of offices for it is paying taxes after 30 April and the penalties is 10% increase in the amount of tax to be paid, and if payment is not completed within 60 days after the final date, an additional 5% will be added to the balance of DA. Next, for business, the types of offices is paying taxes after 30 June. For the penalty, is payment is not made 60 days after the due date. You can still file your income tax, but you may face an interest charge. According to the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, failing to pay your taxes on time will incur a 10% increment on your payable tax. If you forget to file them all together, there are 2 scenarios that could happen, which is the LHDN could choose to have you prosecuted if you fail to furnish your tax returns. In this case, 200 ringgit Malaysia to 20,000 ringgit Malaysia or face imprisonment or not more than 6 months under Section 112(1) of the Income Tax Act 1967. You could escape prosecution, but the Director General could make you pay a penalty according to the amount that you would have owed for the year of assessment. This amount does not consider any tax relief that you would have received. The penalty list in Section 112(3) of the Income Tax Act 1967 is equal to 3 times the amount owed. However, the Operating Guidelines No. 5, 2019 breaks this down into 3 tiers. There have 3 periods, which is 12 months, more than 12 months until 24 months, and more than 24 months. For 12 months, the penalty is 15%. Then, penalty for more than 12 months until 24 months is 30%. And the last one is more than 24 months, the penalty for it is 45%.
Assalamualaikum, my name is NURUL NAZAHANNA, and today I will be talking about another form of tax offense, which is misreporting how much you've earned. So basically, misreporting how much you've earned is making a false tax return by omitting or understating any income that you have earned. So for this type of tax offense, you will be fined an amount between 1,000 to 10,000 ringgit, and there is also a penalty of 200% of tax on the charge. It is provisioned under Income Tax Act ITA 1967 under Section 113(1)(8), which is makes an incorrect return by omitting or understating any income earned, which he is required by this act to make a return on behalf of himself or another person. So, you might wonder, what caused such offense? There are actually plenty things that cause it, but some of the most common reason is lack of knowledge regarding taxation. As you can see, some people don't even know what taxation is due to the lack exposure about taxation to them, so they just don't know how to record their own income tax. The second reason is irresponsibility, which is the opposite from the first one. So some people do know how to record their own tax, but they just refuse to pay the amount that they are obligated to do so, just so they can gain more profit.
As for overstating your tax relief, I will explain what is tax relief first. Tax reliefs can help you reduce the amount of tax you have to pay. But to declare your tax relief, you should provide it with a proof such as voucher, receipt, or any documents that can be your tax relief's evidence. But make sure those documents are still valuable, which means those documents only be kept at least for 7 years to be used to claim your tax reliefs. As we know, there are people that sometimes accidentally declare their tax reliefs incorrectly, and some of them take this opportunity to fabricate the exact amount of tax they must pay by declaring their tax reliefs, which they will overstate their actual tax reliefs. Ever consider doing this? I advise you to not do that, as you will be considered to commit offences in Malaysia. People that mistake their tax reliefs will be fined and get penalties. As for overstating your tax reliefs, you could get fined from 300 ringgit to 10,000 ringgit, in prison, or both.